Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 3 of July 2026. Polaris smart metering sale process is advancing with 4 infrastructure majors shortlisted. Adani Energy Solutions and Apraava Energy are among those in the second negotiation round. Binding bids are expected by early August, valuing the company around Rs 1,500 crore. This development follows I Squared Capital's exploration of an exit from the smart meter provider. The government's ambitious smart meter installation scheme drives significant market opportunities. As automation spreads, India's FMCG companies rethink the size of their workforce. Hindustan Unilever and Dabur reduced permanent staff while others increased headcount. Median employee remuneration saw increases ranging from 6 to 12%. Hindustan Unilever's permanent workforce declined by over 700 employees. Dabur India's permanent workforce also saw a significant reduction in numbers. Nestle India, Marico, and Tata Consumer Products expanded their employee base. Tata Consultancy Services is building a team of up to 8,900 forward-deployed engineers and hunting for AI acquisitions as it bets artificial intelligence will create new business rather than undermine outsourcing. The strategy emerges amid investor concern that AI could disrupt India's $315 IT services industry by reducing demand for engineering teams, shortening project timelines, and squeezing prices as clients seek a share of productivity gains. India's National Stock Exchange or NSE will pitch its initial public offering or IPO to over 30 global investors this month as a bet on the country's rapid financial expansion and growing capital market participation. India's largest and world's most active derivatives exchange filed draft papers for an IPO last month, making it one of 2 mega IPOs likely to come to the country this year. Billionaire Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Jio is the other. Investor meetings are set to begin this week with a listing expected around October. NSE will tell investors it expects to see annual turnover growth of 12% in cash equities and equity futures and 10% in equity options across the market over the next 5 years. The exchange currently has 100% market share in equity futures trading, 93% in cash market and 75% in equity options. NSE's public offering was delayed for a decade by litigation linked to a regulatory order against it for failing to provide fair and equitable access to all market participants. The exchange has since applied to settle the remaining proceedings by paying about $158 million according to its draft IPO papers. The Indian rupee is poised to weaken at Monday's open, with the market's focus swinging back to oil after Iran expanded strikes on Gulf states following US attacks, reviving risks to India's trade balance. Beyond the focus on oil, market participants are watching how the Reserve Bank of India responds. The RBI has been providing its usual support to the rupee, and the extent of intervention could become more pronounced due to the potential impact from rising oil prices. The quick commerce sector is again under scrutiny, but this time for its business model. A retailer body last week sought a government review of Amazon and Flipkart's expansion into quick commerce. Zepto's operating model has also come under investor scrutiny ahead of its IPO plans. Under India's Foreign Direct Investment or FDI rules, companies with a majority foreign ownership can only operate on a marketplace model. Industry experts and analysts said digital platforms' expansion into newer models blurs the line between marketplace and retailer, raising fresh competition and regulatory concerns. India is developing indigenous stratospheric airships for persistent surveillance missions. The airship-based high-altitude pseudo-satellite project is funded by the government. These airships will operate about 20 kilometers, bridging drone and satellite capabilities. They will carry advanced sensors for intelligence gathering and long-range communications. Several private sector companies are competing for this high-technology development project. State Bank of India anticipates a significant payout from asset management and stock exchange stake sales. These sales will strengthen the bank's capital position and support future loan expansion. The bank is selling a stake in its asset management company through an initial public offering. Later this year, SBI will also offer shares in the National Stock Exchange IPO. These combined transactions will enhance SBI's net worth and financial flexibility. Large cap Indian stocks are expected to narrow their underperformance to smaller peers soon. Foreign investors are returning to Indian equities, boosting large cap prospects. Attractive valuations and improving earnings outlook support this anticipated market shift. Large caps now trade at a significant discount compared to their smaller counterparts. This trend suggests a potential rotation back into these larger companies. Paytm and Swiggy investor Elevation Capital has raised a $500 million fund to back early-stage startups, betting that the next generation of AI-led companies will emerge from India even as global capital has disproportionately gravitated towards the US foundational models. Unlike Fund 8, where Elevation invested across stages, the new vehicle will remain focused on seed and Series A investments. Through its ninth India fund, Elevation will back early-stage startups building AI-led businesses, tackling India's large, operationally complex challenges in healthcare, education, and financial services. It will also invest in global AI software companies being built from India alongside deep tech startups in areas such as space, defense, robotics, energy, and precision manufacturing. Aditya Birla Group announced acquiring Spring Energy for $1.8 billion. This significant deal expands the group's renewable energy portfolio substantially. The acquisition includes utility-scale solar, wind, and hybrid assets across India. This transaction positions Aditya Birla Renewables among the nation's largest developers. Regulatory approvals are now pending for the completion of this major acquisition. Aditya Birla Group plans a significant Rs 12,000 crore investment for its Odisha alumina refinery. This expansion will triple the refinery's production capacity to 3 million tons annually. The project aims to boost India's aluminium value chain and create substantial local employment opportunities. Hindalco Industries, the group's flagship, reported strong financial results for the recent fiscal year. This investment will support rising domestic demand and reinforce Odisha's industrial hub status. Fairfax Holdings aims to secure a major stake in IDBI Bank through an improved offer. The collaboration with the government and LIC is set to yield about 53,000 crore rupees from their combined stakes. This groundbreaking investment will set a new record as the largest foreign influx into an Indian bank. Artificial intelligence integration startup Unify Apps is in discussions with private equity firm EQT to raise $100 to $120 million in a fresh funding round. Once the round closes, Unify Apps will become the third Indian AI startup after Sarvam and Emergent to raise a funding round of more than $100 million. The investment, which comes less than a year after the New York and Gurgaon-based startup raised $50 million from Westbridge Capital, is expected to value the company at $700 to $750 million, marking more than threefold jump from its $200 million valuation in October 2025. Tata Digital's online grocery business BigBasket is slashing its operational footprint by almost half, narrowing focus to nearly 40 cities that are operating profitably. Its new chief executive Amit Nanda, a former Amazon India executive, has been tasked with making the business profitable amid intensifying competition and mounting pressure on margins in the quick commerce and online grocery delivery business. Smart ring maker Ultrahuman is in discussions to raise about $60 million in a round led by existing investors Steadview Capital and Bloom Ventures. The funding could value the Bengaluru-based company at $360 to $400 million post-money. The final size, terms and investor mix may change as talks progress. It is being structured as a continuation of the $35 to $40 million round completed in March. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has paused its global networking guidelines. These guidelines encourage domestic firms to form international partnerships and register. Major audit firms oppose registration and sharing sensitive operational details. Stakeholder concerns and ministry input prompted the pause for further discussion. The Institute aims to foster growth for Indian accounting firms through this framework. Vedanta plans to significantly increase zinc and lead production capacity by 2031. Aluminium production capacity will double over the next 3 years. The company targets iron and steel output expansion to 15 million tons annually. Vedanta will invest $5 billion in its oil and gas business. This expansion aims to meet rising domestic demand and strengthen global presence. By the year 2030, IKEA aims to invest close to 11,000 crore rupees in India, launching 25 stores of varying sizes across the nation. The Inca Group's commitment includes over 7,500 crore rupees for new facilities in Gurugram and Noida, set to open in 2027 and 2028. Additionally, IKEA is looking into collaboration opportunities for its existing land assets. A US bill proposes tariffs on countries buying Russian oil, potentially impacting India. This move could damage India-US relations, especially during trade deal talks. Europe receives concessions for Russian natural gas imports, creating a double standard. India's Russian crude imports have significantly increased recently. Such sanctions may prove counterproductive for US foreign policy objectives. Hyundai Motor Group is set to acquire SoftBank's remaining ownership in Boston Dynamics. This significant deal will give Hyundai full control over the renowned robotics company, further bolstering its ambitions in advanced automation and future mobility technologies. The acquisition marks a major step for Hyundai's strategic growth. Adani Group is negotiating with Accor to manage Delhi and Agra hotel properties. Separately, discussions are underway with ITC Hotels for a Greater Noida resort. Accor may invest in property upgrades and refurbishments as part of the deal. Adani acquired these hospitality assets after taking over Jaiprakash Associates Limited. The conglomerate is expanding its hospitality presence through various strategic partnerships. Jana Small Finance Bank plans to reduce unsecured loans to 22 to 23% of its portfolio over the next 2 years from 27%, with a long-term target of an 80:20 secured-unsecured mix. The lender expects its proposed partnership with the TVS Venu Group to accelerate two-wheeler financing. It also guided for up to 21% loan growth and an 80% rise in financial year 27 net profit. In a landmark transaction, Warburg Pincus, a prominent US private equity firm, has purchased Integris Private Limited for Rs 1,200 crore. With this deal, True North and Temasek Holdings have decided to divest entirely from their stakes in the company. Rehan Khan, a seasoned leader in the industry, will take the helm as CEO, steering Integris' focus on its celebrated orthopedic and gynecological brands. The Reserve Bank of India on Wednesday proposed that banks, NBFCs and other regulated entities should put in place processes to manage data risk as part of the overall risk management framework. The guidance sets out broad regulatory expectations relating to data governance, roles, architecture, metadata, and lineage, quality, and third-party arrangements involving data sharing. The RBI has sought feedback by August 17th. AI coding startup Emergent has become India's latest unicorn after raising $130 million in a Series C funding. The round values the San Francisco headquartered company at $1.5 billion, underscoring the rapid pace at which artificial intelligence startups are scaling globally. The company is the sixth Indian startup to attain unicorn status this year and the second AI startup after Sarvam to achieve the milestone in recent months. Founded by former Dunzo co-founder Mukund Jha, Emergent develops an AI-powered vibe coding platform that enables users to build, test and deploy software applications using natural language prompts, reducing the need for traditional programming skills. Tata Electronics will begin India's first chip production using older technology. The Dholera facility will initially focus on 90 nanometer process technology. This mature technology is suitable for industrial and automotive applications. The company plans to gradually introduce more advanced 28 nanometer chips later. This endeavor highlights India's ongoing efforts to build a domestic semiconductor industry. The Income Tax Appellate Tribunal has ruled that British Airways cannot claim India-UK tax treaty protection on income from providing ground handling and engineering services to other airlines in India. The tribunal said such receipts fall outside Article 8 of the India-UK DTAA and remain taxable, distinguishing the treaty from broader India-Germany and India-Netherlands provisions. Tata Sons and the Shapoorji Pallonji Group are currently negotiating the monetization of a stake but are at an impasse concerning the transaction structure and valuation. Among the options discussed is a share swap deal. The Shapoorji Pallonji Group is eyeing this opportunity to tackle its significant debt. Their recent refinancing attempts indicate a solid confidence level in the pledged Tata Sons shares. State Bank of India mobilized nearly $2 billion under a central bank incentive. This amount significantly surpasses other state-owned and private sector banks' efforts. Other lenders like Bank of Baroda and Canara Bank raised smaller sums. Banks are now focusing on attracting overseas currency inflows from the Indian diaspora. This strategy aims to provide greater flexibility for high net worth clients. India's LPG subsidy bill may surpass Rs 1 lakh crore in fiscal year 2027. This projection indicates a significant shortfall against the budget's Rs 30,000 crore allocation. Overall subsidy spending has already seen a 47% year-on-year increase during early fiscal year 2027. Government finances face additional pressure from rising food and fertilizer subsidies. In a ruling that could expose automakers to greater liability over India's ethanol blended fuel policy, an Indian consumer court has ordered Maruti Suzuki to provide a new car to a customer who alleged mandatory E20 fuel damaged his vehicle. The first of its kind ruling is likely to be closely watched as legal experts said it could embolden other vehicle owners who believe the fuel has caused problems with their cars to seek compensation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government and automakers, including Maruti, have in recent weeks defended last year's rollout of so-called E20 fuel, which has 20% ethanol, saying it is safe for all vehicles. The E20 program, intended to reduce crude oil imports and cut emissions, has become one of the administration's biggest political challenges, with critics alleging the policy was rolled out too quickly and without offering motorists alternative fuel choices. India monitors a US bill proposing 100% tariffs on Russian oil imports. This legislation exempts European Union LNG and US uranium purchases from Moscow. The bill could negatively impact ongoing trade deal negotiations between India and the United States. India defends its discounted Russian crude purchases for energy security and price stability. New Delhi has taken strong note of this proposed legislation's introduction. Oil companies are encouraging commercial users to switch to liquid offtake LPG cylinders. This shift promises significant cost savings and better fuel efficiency for businesses. Conventional cylinders leave behind usable gas, causing substantial annual waste. This transition could save India approximately 21,900 crore rupees. The promotion of these efficient cylinders is now gaining considerable traction nationwide. Banks face challenges extending collateral-free loans up to 20 lakh rupees. Some accounts are not covered by the government guarantee scheme for small firms. Many borrowers are unwilling to pay additional guarantee fees for these loans. Lenders plan to approach the government and RBI regarding these issues. This situation impacts credit access for micro and small enterprises. Nasdaq listed Make My Trip or MMT said on Friday that its India unit, a wholly owned subsidiary, had pre-filed a draft red herring prospectus with the Securities and Exchange Board of India on a confidential basis for the initial public offering of MMT India. The company may look at raising up to $1 billion from the India listing. Market watchers said the dual listing and hence trading of the stock in the US and India at the same time in both currencies would improve liquidity and valuation of the company. Groyo, a business-to-business platform that uses artificial intelligence to help fashion brands design, source and manufacture apparel, has secured the first close of its Series B funding round, raising Rs 90 crore. The round was led by Cornerstone Ventures with participation from some existing investors. The company said it plans to use the proceeds to expand into new markets, grow its supplier network and further develop its AI platform. The firm had previously raised a Series A round from Tiger Global, Alpha Wave Global, Sparrow Capital and Stride Ventures. Rise, a platform focused on sustainable rice production, has raised $31 million in a Series B funding round, including $20 million in equity and $11 million in debt. The equity round was led by BNP Paribas Asset Management Alts, with participation from the Rockefeller Foundation, Temasek, and Breakthrough Energy Ventures, while the debt financing was backed by BIDV, Temasek Foundation, and UOB. Founded in 2022, Rise works with 17,000 smallholder farmers across more than 50,000 hectares in Vietnam and Indonesia.
This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram.